This is herb chicken thighs with egg noodles, and first we're going to start off with some fresh rosemary. You don't need fresh rosemary, you can use an Italian dry blend. I'm going to use about a tablespoon of fresh rosemary, and then I would use like thyme or parsley. I do have an Italian blend that I'm going to use today, and then we've got a pound of mushrooms. Just going to lightly dry those off with a dry paper, or clean those off with a dry paper towel. Set them aside. I'm going to slice them. You could also just go ahead and chunk them. It doesn't matter too much. And you can use any mushroom you want here. This is a chicken thigh recipe. I originally wrote it as a crock pot recipe. You could throw almost everything in the crock pot and just go, but I am down for the pan sear and the stovetop method right now. So I'm just taking off any of the extra fat that I can get on the chicken thighs. This is about 2 pounds. And it's going into a 12-inch nonstick skillet. Just needs a little bit of oil since there's still a lot of fat on there. So I just salt and peppered the pretty side and laid that in the 12-inch skillet. It doesn't even need to be super hot because it will render fat as it cooks. So I'm going to do the one side until it gets a nice brown, a little bit of crisp, and then do the second side just for 2 minutes. Now all of this is going to wash off in the sauce, but it does help develop layers in the sauce. So set that aside, and I put that into a different rondo pot, and I'm going to go ahead and cook the rest of the mushrooms in this bigger skillet that's wider, that can evaporate the liquids faster. So it sort of just speeds up the process. So I put in the mushrooms. I put in about 3 tablespoons of butter, put in some more salt, put in some more of the herbs, cook that for about 10 minutes, pretty much undisturbed. Every once in a while give it a shake. Once you're done with that, you're going to put in the white wine. It's about 3/4 cup. If you don't use that, you can use chicken broth. And then I'm going to transfer everything over to this bigger pan because I want everything to fit in it. And then at that point, I'm going to throw in any other, herbs that you like. Then throw in everything except for the peas, the frozen peas. So this is about 2.5 cups of chicken broth, and that was 10 ounces of noodles. Now, you can throw in more, but you're going to need more broth, totally up to you. So this is going to cook for 25 minutes total. So I'm doing 15, 5, and 5, and I'm going to stir it about every 5 minutes because it is a full pot. If you find that you want some more sauce, because the sauce does cook into the noodles, so it's not super duper saucy. For me, it's saucy enough. You would add 3 cups, or you're going to use some judgment calls on that based on your stovetop, your pot, all of that. And so, like I said, that will cook for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes total, and with the egg noodles. And then you're going to remove it from heat or turn the heat off, and then add in a couple more tablespoons of butter, and that's just going to thicken the sauce. At this point, you've tasted the egg noodles. You've made sure that they're done. Now you're going to add the peas. You're going to add a little bit more salt, and you're going to add herbs to taste. Now, if you want this to have more sauce, some ideas are you can add some cream if you want to make it a little bit creamier. I like the purest version of this with butter and chicken broth, but you can add a little bit of cream, especially the next day when it's starting to thicken. You can add more broth. You can stir in Parmesan cheese, and I'm actually going to serve Parmesan cheese over this. And you can find this recipe at eatsimplefood.com. Yeah, and feel free to add a garnish because it's such a brown dish. Chopped parsley would be really pretty. This is chopped rosemary.